Welcome to Weird Facts. Today, we're diving deep, literally. We're going to look at a story that starts way down beneath the waves off New Zealand and ends up with a multi-billion-dollar solution to a problem that's, well, affecting the entire country.
So, where does this all start? Well, it begins with this absolutely enormous natural feature, and you'd be surprised just how close it is.
I mean, can you imagine? Most people living in Wellington, New Zealand's capital, have no idea that just 10 kilometers off the coast, right beyond the harbor, lies one of the most dramatic landscapes in the whole country. A hidden giant, right on their doorstep.
And we're not talking about some little trench here. This is the Cook Strait Canyon. Think of it as a massive, living, breathing system. Scarred by huge underwater landslides and active faults, it's basically the geological heart of this super treacherous stretch of water that literally splits New Zealand in two.
Okay, let's talk scale for a second, because this is where it gets wild. This canyon plunges down 2,700 meters. To put that in perspective, that's deeper than the Grand Canyon is tall. It's just immense.
And yeah, this is no quiet giant sleeping at the bottom of the sea. Geologists like Dr. Joshua Mountainjoy will tell you this area is incredibly unstable. We're talking earthquakes, massive underwater landslides, a constant hidden threat. So that leads to a huge question. How in the world do you connect a country that's split right down the middle by this wild, unpredictable piece of water? Well, you build a bridge, but not the kind you're thinking of. Not steel and concrete. We're talking about a bridge made of ships. For decades, the interislander ferries have been that critical water bridge. But that bridge, it's starting to crumble.
So here's the heart of the issue. These ships are just old. They've been battling one of the roughest sea crossings on the planet for almost 30 years. They're at the end of their economic life, and the cost to keep them running, it's getting out of control.
It's really the perfect storm of problems, you know? You've got corrosion and rust everywhere. The electrical and control systems are totally obsolete. Good luck finding parts for those. That leads to constant breakdowns and delays, which means rising, unpredictable costs. On top of that, they can't meet modern environmental standards, and they're completely maxed out during peak season. It's just a state of managed decline.
And this really gets to the human cost, doesn't it? It's not just about logistics. When they actually looked into the passenger experience, people said they felt like they were just being processed, not transported. They felt like cargo on a production line, just shuffled through these rundown terminals onto old ships. Not a great experience.
Okay, so the Lifeline is failing. New Zealand needed a big, once-in-a-generation solution. And that solution? It's a massive project called the iReX program.
And the plan is pretty ambitious, actually. It's to replace the whole aging fleet with 2 brand new ships. And these aren't just off-the-shelf ferries, they're purpose-built, designed from the ground up for the very specific, very demanding challenges of that Cook Strait crossing.
Now, they looked at every option you can imagine. 3 medium ships, 2 smaller ones, but when they crunched the numbers, the economic case was just crystal clear. 2 large ships that could also carry trains, that was the sweet spot. It provided the best value by far, balancing the costs with the ability to handle future demand, and ended up with a net present value of over $200 million. The other options didn't even come close.
And the price tag? Well, it definitely reflects the scale of this thing. The total cost for the new ships and the terminals to go with them is a whopping $1.45 billion, a huge national project.
So, you might be wondering, what does $1.45 billion actually get you? Well, it's a lot more than just a couple of new ships. It's a complete overhaul, a total reimagining of the connection between New Zealand's 2 main islands. For starters, the project includes brand new port terminals on both sides of the strait, in Wellington and Picton. And these aren't just a fresh coat of paint. They're being engineered from the ground up to be seismically resilient, super important in that area, and just way more efficient to operate.
And here's one of the biggest wins, the environment. The old fleet, let's be honest, was a huge emitter. These new, super-efficient ships, they're projected to slash carbon emissions. We're talking a drop from over 110,000 tons of CO2 equivalent down to less than 66,000.
That is a 40% reduction. Just think about that, a 40% drop in emissions from this one project alone. It basically makes this new ferry fleet a leader in low-emissions transport for the country and fits right in with New Zealand's bigger climate goals.
But, maybe the most crucial benefit of all is resilience. Picture this, a major earthquake hits Wellington. It's a constant risk. Land routes could be totally cut off for up to 15 days. But these new, reliable ferries working out of those new, strong ports, they could restore access by sea in just 4 or 5 days. They become the literal lifeline for getting people out and getting supplies in.
So it's pretty clear this huge project secures that water bridge for the next generation. But it does make you wonder, is a bridge made of ships the final answer for taming the wild Cook Strait?
Because if you look around the globe, other countries are tackling similar challenges with even more ambitious ideas. You look at a place like Norway, their engineers are building these gigantic underwater road tunnels to create highways that completely eliminate the need for ferries.
Take Norway's Rogfast Tunnel, for example. When it's done, it'll be the longest and deepest in the world. We're talking 17 miles long and nearly 1,300 feet deep below sea level. It's an incredible feat of engineering.
It just leaves you wondering, With engineering moving at this incredible pace, could a project like that one day replace ships completely and create a permanent, physical link between New Zealand's two islands? A way to finally tame that wild strait for good? If you enjoyed exploring that with us, do us a favor and hit the like button. It really helps the channel grow. Make sure you subscribe and definitely let us know in the comments what you'd like us to explore next time.